Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful week of Power 10 Sports Talk. I'm your host, as always, Andrew Gibb. Joining me this week, the Reds bandwagoner, John Sacco.
Hey, there's still room on that bandwagon. It's growing.
And Erin Pulsey, sadly, she lost the bracket challenge hard with the Big Ten favoritism. So feel free to go send her some money on Venmo. She definitely needs the help.
Shoot, yeah. Listen, every dollar counts.
I mean, I got third place in the one I put money on, so I didn't lose any money. So I'm kind of excited about that. I didn't win any money, but I didn't lose any. Brady ended up winning $50, I think, with second place.
All I needed was Michigan to beat UCLA. I had everything past that.
Yeah, mine was, I think it was dependent on who won the final. If Gonzaga won, I got first place. If Baylor won, I got third place. So no matter what, I was in a situation where I was going to get back my money.
See, that's why I don't put money on any of my brackets. I just do it for fun.
Just
Well,
for
a
the
$25
funsies.
gift card on one of my free brackets, but yeah.
Yeah,
So that sort of makes up for all the money I put into the paid brackets.
exactly.
What's a gift card to, though, is the question.
I have my choice between pizza and Skyline Chili.
Say, is it Blockbuster?
Skyline.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So since we're starting with March Madness, we'll kind of hop into that. Stanford ends up winning for the Women's March Madness, and I
Their
don't remember who won
coach.
the Wooden Award.
Oh,
I'm blanking on her
Paige
name.
Buckner.
Paige
Yep.
Buckner, first freshman to win the Wooden Award from UConn. And I didn't know UConn didn't get an automatic bid into the Final Four until this year whenever I saw they made it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that's
they
when theirs
stopped
started.
the automatic. Yeah, they stopped the automatic bid like 2 years ago because they lost in the Elite Eight once.
Okay. Yeah, I thought they just straight up started at the four while everyone else played in.
Gotcha. It's basically always their, bracket.
They're
to lose,
there.
but wait, we have an important fact to talk about. Van Devere, Stanford's women's coach. She's the first coach to ever win the championship in 3 different decades.
So 2020s,
Wow.
2010s, 2000. What do we?
2000s?
Yeah, 2000s doesn't have a nice shortening to it.
Oh, wait, then she definitely won it in the 90s. Like, she didn't win it.
So is this 4?
No, this is, I think, 3 for her.
Oh,
That's
3 non-consecutive. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. That's still an impressive feat, though. It's tough for anybody, regardless of sport, to do something like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She's been around for forever. She's like one of the oldest women's basketball coaches. I'm pretty sure she was coaching back with Pat Summitt. So.
Oh, geez. All right. And then men's tournament, Baylor ends up knocking off Gonzaga and ending their perfect season. It kind of broke my heart because every year I picked Gonzaga to win it all. This year just seemed more realistic than other years.
Yeah, it was just kind of a letdown of a game.
It was a blowout. That was.
I mean, the best game really was Gonzaga UCLA, but you can't even say that was for the championship because Gonzaga went on to lose.
Best game technically I would say was that one. The best one to watch was OU UVA. That's my bid for the best game because I got to be in an Ohio bar watching OU win it and everyone go crazy.
I think you're just biased because for people in like California, that game doesn't matter.
Yeah, that game. Yeah, that's 100% biased. This show has never said we're non-biased. Erin picked a Final Four of just Big Ten and picked Ohio
live
State
you're
to
talking
win the
about
bias.
championship.
Listen, I live for biases. I'm just saying that's not necessarily the best game that happened. That
was
may
the
have
most
been the
fun to
game
watch
you
for me.
enjoyed. Yeah.
I mean, I think obviously the best game to happen was Gonzaga UCLA.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm with you on that one.
that was an instant classic. Just the final couple minutes, it was a thrill ride, a roller coaster of a game.
But the sheer amount of upsets that there were just kind of, I think that blew a lot of people away. The fact that we actually picked the Abilene Christian upset whenever we had Brian Miller on the show. Brady of all people was the one that picked it. Usually he stays chalk with everything.
Who
And
was
then-
it? I was gonna say there were a couple other upsets that we had picked.
I think we said most
we said a good
of
amount.
them.
Well,
we didn't pick the
when
Oral
we were
Roberts
picking
one
upsets,
though.
we picked about every game, so we were shooting about 50%.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say them all whenever we just
When
said
we have 5
one
people
of us
on
said
and
an
we each
upset,
give
yeah.
2 different ones.
That's true. Yeah, the only upset I think that no one picked was Oral Roberts. In all honesty.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people picked
And they were
Loyola
a
beating
buzzer beater
Illinois.
away from making it 3.
I know.
That would have been even better. Just because that's such a great name. I love Oral Roberts.
Dude, you know what would have been cool if they played Colgate and then it would be sponsored by all the toothpastes.
That would have been great. So, yeah, then they would have definitely
Opportunity
tried.
missed.
That social media person would have been like, my job's done. Like, all I have to do is just post the score
Now, if only we
throughout
got
this.
Monmouth in the tournament.
Yeah.
There you go. Dang, we should just have a bracket of all different mouth
Mouth products.
themed schools. Who wins?
How many could there be?
Well, you got Colgate, you got Oral
Colgate,
Roberts, you got Monmouth, but it's Monmouth.
Mouth.
Yeah.
Mouth.
And it all depends on where you're from and how you say that.
Yeah. You never know.
There's probably like 2 or 3 more. There's probably like, or do you count like a school that like is huge for dentistry?
No.
No, all right.
No.
I say that
It's
that's like an
gotta have the pun in the
asterisk
name.
on it.
Number 1 dentistry program in the nation.
Yeah, they get an honorable mention at least.
They can have a play-in game.
They can have the it's hosted there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. And then there can be a dentist convention.
Oh my gosh.
We are just coming up with marketing ideas here.
ESPN, you need to take note here.
Yeah.
And then Luca Garza gets the Wooden Award for the men's tournament. I think that he has potential. I'd love to see him with the Cavs. I really think that they need a big man, and please, please, please take him if you can.
Was that pure sarcasm? Because we had
No.
like 8 big men and traded them all away.
No, we've had big men that definitely underperform, and we're like, oh yeah, we don't have. Essentially,
We don't need a big man. We
We
have
had
Jared
Drummond,
Allen.
and then I keep forgetting
How
about
do you
him. Yeah,
forget?
because
We
at
have
one
Jared
point we
Allen. He's
also
the
had
future
JaVale
of our
McGee and
team.
Andre Drummond on the roster, and then got rid of
Yeah.
them both.
Right.
No,
like
we definitely
at
need
one
a
point
3.
had like 5 big men on
Yeah,
the team.
we had.
We are good.
Yeah,
The front
TT
court is good,
Mozgov.
and
I
the
didn't know
back
so
court
many
is
big-
good.
Yeah, the backcourt's fine. Yeah, and I don't know where we need to improve, but I think that
The 3.
Definitely at the 3.
yeah,
Mhm.
probably at 3.
We got 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Who's
Or
who
if
are you
we
saying
get
is at the
a-
4? Are you saying Caleb at the 4?
K-Love is still good.
Yeah,
honestly.
he's still good, but
he's-
you probably could go to replacement at this point just with age.
He's
Yeah.
also not going to stay. Like whenever his
1 and
contract
2.
is done, yeah, but I imagine he'll go somewhere else. He's the only one left. It's no longer
we still have
fun.
Delly?
But I'm saying Okoro could probably play the 4, like a small ball,
Yeah.
Draymond Green type 4.
Yeah.
The way
It
the
could
NBA
work.
is shaping up, I'm seeing Okoro at the 4.
I would really like to see another like Channing Frye type athlete, a huge guy who can knock it down from the outside. That, you know, whenever Channing originally went in the NBA, no one knew how to deal with that player. So they were just
Yeah.
like, stand in the corner. And now, like, there's actually use for them. And I think that the Cavs kind of need that versatile guy that can play down low, but also hit the shots outside.
Yeah. Speaking of mediocre teams, Bradley Beal hit the game winner last night against Golden State, and what a shot it was.
4-point play.
Yeah.
A 4-point play.
Yeah.
But in the worlds of Bradley Beal, they still can't guard a parked car. So the team they beat was Golden State, which still has weight to it because Steph Curry, but not as much.
Yeah,
What a fall
neither
from
team-
grace, but
Neither team even has a 500 record.
Yeah.
So.
It was essentially like watching like 2 like out of shape nerdy kids fight in like the playground. You're like, who's gonna win? Doesn't matter because they're both probably gonna lose.
I was gonna say it'd just be like the Eagles and the Cowboys playing each other. It doesn't
Or
really
the
matter.
Cowboys and the Giants.
Yep,
Or Washington and the
exactly.
Cowboys. We're pretty much just gonna say the NFC East. Anyone in that section, they're all terrible. I think that we might see some improvement this season. But the next bit of news, since we did bring up the Cowboys, the NFL has expanded the numbers rules. I thought it was just unspoken, just kind of that certain players wore certain numbers. But now the new rules will kind of change, and players can wear more variety of numbers.
wild to me that you thought it was unspoken.
I
'cause
just
what
thought it was
wide
an
receiver
unspoken
is
rule.
wearing 87.
Reggie
willingly.
Wayne.
Well,
Reggie Wayne,
haven't you-
Colts all-time
haven't you ever
great, wore
seen-
87.
Every single one of these players is said, well, I wore number 1 in college, but I really want to change to 81 now.
Yeah.
Well, haven't you seen like where a player has to go to the sideline and switch jerseys?
Yeah.
Did you
In
think they did that
college.
for fun?
I didn't know why they did it. It's something that I never thought of why it happened. I just kind of accepted it as an unspoken rule.
Gotcha.
But yeah, currently, so the former rules, quarterbacks, kickers, and players are unaffected. They'll still be able to wear numbers 1 through 19. The old rule, running backs could wear 29 to 40 or 20 to 49, and now they can wear 1 to 49 and 80 to 89. So I think we will see
I don't know
somebody
any running back that's choosing an 80s number.
I don't think I've ever seen.
I hope I'll see the first, but I don't
Yeah.
see
Honestly,
that happen.
if somebody's like I don't know, I would love to see a Derrick Henry in like an 88,
in an
like
80
diesel
82,
truck,
yeah.
frickin' boom right through somebody. But it has to be a big running back. It can't just be
Yeah.
like
You can't
a
be
tiny
somebody,
little quick guy. Like it's got to be a Mack truck. of a
Boston
running
Scott
back.
isn't going to wear 88 and me convincingly see it and be like, yeah, he's 5'6". I don't believe he'd wear 88.
He might
You
be
can't wear
easier
a
to
number
find on the field.
taller than your height. New rule.
All right. Wide receivers can only wear numbers 10 through 19 and 80 to 89. New rule, give them 1 through 50 and 80 to 89. So that is the biggest one, I think, is that
Mhm.
because wide receivers are in like a 20 number span prior to this.
Yeah.
And that was a weird, like, I was like, I never thought about the fact that, yeah, you only ever see wide receivers in 11 to 19 and even 10, which isn't super common. I'm trying to think of a number 10 that was a wide receiver. Edelman? Or was he 11?
No.
I feel like he was 11.
Yeah, but still, like the fact that like you only ever saw 80s and then teens, and now there's a whole big range of it. I think we'll see a lot of guys wear ones. I think ones, twos, and fives. I think we'll see a lot more
Yep.
often.
Bring back the college numbers.
Yep. Tight ends were only allowed to wear numbers 40 through 49 and 80 to 89, and now they're given the same range as running backs and wide receivers. I think they'll stay the same though. I don't think we'll see a tight end wear number 15 anytime
No, because
soon.
that will be saved for the running backs and receivers.
But now everyone has freedom to do it. See, you're like they wouldn't take it, and that's why I thought it like unspoken rule. Erin?
I googled it. DeAndre Hopkins wore 10. I was like, I knew that there was a wide receiver out there.
How did we forget?
I was
That's
like,
a
I
good
know we're
question,
missing
yeah.
somebody, and I feel really stupid, so I have to Google it.
It's because that man's wasting away in Arizona.
Yeah. Offensive linemen
Listen.
also unaffected by this.
You never know.
yeah.
JJ Watt's going
He
over
wasted
there now.
away in Houston, and now he's wasting
They're
away
gonna
in
go
Arizona.
from 7 and 9 to 8 and 9.
They're gonna have a 10-win season.
When? I mean, yeah, every team's gonna have a 10-win season eventually.
screw
I don't
it.
think the Cardinals have it right now.
They're
Whenever their
getting
quarterback's
better.
the same size as John, it's not a great sign.
Okay, the Seahawks quarterback is also the same size as John.
No, he's the same size as me.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's
He has
more
like
impressive.
3 to 6 more inches. You know, it's
It's like 3 more inches. But that's
Hey,
a
that
big
makes
difference.
that makes all the difference.
yeah.
It's whether every pass has to be a rollout because you can't see over your line, or you can still kind of trust your pocket a bit.
No, I think height is the most overrated quarterback metric.
It's not a great metric, but at some point you have to realize it does play some sort of role because every offensive lineman is 6'2" to 6'7". And if you can't see over your own line, everything down the middle is
Yeah,
almost not an option.
No one's standing on their tippy toes blocking as a lineman.
Yeah, but still, it's enough a difference that like there could be something really easy down the middle that you can
Pre-snap, they are all crouched over. You can
miss.
see over them to read the defense. 90% of the time, the pocket is open down the middle.
Yeah, I guess, yeah,
They are
there's
blocking
that,
from the
so,
sides. And that's where you can either run forward or run around.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying it's a major thing. You'd still be Kyler Murray is still a great quarterback, but I think that his height is something that will always be an issue. That if he was just a little bit taller, he'd be better.
I don't know. If he was a little bit taller, he might be a little bit slower.
A little
Longer
heightist.
legs.
Yeah.
Long legs are hard to move. Usain
Yeah,
Bolt's
that's
one
why
of the
I'm
first
slow.
like sprinters out in the world that was like tall. If you look at all the guys he runs against in the Olympics, they're all a head and shoulders shorter than him. Like you have to have killer hip flexors to be that fast with that.
Well, also,
long
yeah, you're
legs.
having less stretch. I get your quads and hamstrings are less stretched out, so it's more compacted, and you can kind of get more force off of it.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to numbers.
Yeah.
The reason I don't
Linebackers,
think tight
yeah.
end. I
I'm
don't think
sorry.
many tight ends are going to pick numbers
Yeah,
in the teens Because there's
won't
very
change.
few stars that are tight ends in the NFL. Are you saying if Zeke wants 15, they're going to give it to Blake Jarwin instead?
No, but you have guys like Kelsey or Kittle that could be asking, "Hey, can I wear number 25?"
I would
I don't know
say
if there's
all
any-
it
yeah.
takes is one stud. All it takes is one star to wear that number, and then every kid is going to grow up wanting to be number 24.
23. The number 23. Every sport, every guy tries to get 23 because
Yeah.
of Jordan and now because of LeBron in the next generation.
Oh, and Draymond, of course.
And yeah, never
And
could forget
Draymond.
Draymond Green also. Yeah, linebackers was 40 to 59 and 90 to 99. They now
Not much of a change.
they now get 1 to 59 now.
I find that so weird that they were giving them a 9-number span.
Yeah,
Like,
that it's in sets of 9s. Or yes, it's in
Just-
sets of.
well, it's just the like 90s. Like, why not give them the 80s and the 90s?
Yeah. Well,
Like, what is so terribly different between 90 and 89?
yeah, the weirdest one's still offensive linemen that they didn't get a change. And they're still 50
Someone might
to
confuse them for a
79.
wide receiver.
Yeah,
Okay. That's totally
you
valid.
have to watch out for Quentin
they look the
Nelson
same.
running downfield for a touchdown pass.
Yeah, they're putting linemen out there. They said, "Why is Odell Beckham playing defense? Why they have him on the? Why is he not?
Why is he a
out?"
lineman?
Yeah, because that makes perfect sense. And players 100% look at the number across from who they're lined up with, not the player at all.
Oh, yeah,
number.
Yeah, and DBs were
Shoulda known.
previously
I mean, it's going to
20.
be so confusing as a defensive back. They're going to say, "Okay, get on the wide receiver," and they're like, "What wide
Which one?
receiver? I
Yeah.
only see number 20."
This
There's
guy
a
holding the
running
ball
back
pre-snap.
out here.
And then lastly, defensive backs were 20 to 49 now have ability to go 1 through 49.
Yeah,
So it's something
honestly,
interesting. We could see changes, or people kind of stick the same because they played their whole career in the professional level at that number. So why change it back to your college number?
I
Or-
don't know. I find it really weird that like it's not just like big men have 50 and up, and then like smaller guys have 1 through 49. Like just boom.
Yeah, and
2
then that
jobs.
weird 80 rule now that exists for anyone that can catch a ball.
Yeah, I think this is
That's
going to
intended to catch a ball.
probably matter more for incoming rookies and maybe the younger guys than guys who have made careers at their new number.
What I want to know is there a like unspoken rule for fullbacks to wear like the most random number? Because there's no listed things for fullbacks, but they always seem to have like the weirdest number possible on the field.
I believe they work with tight end numbers.
Is that would they work off tight end numbers or did they go off running back numbers?
I think they go off tight end numbers.
Yeah, that makes sense and why they're always in like the 40s.
The more you know.
Yeah. Next bit of news, I guess we'll transition over into baseball. Last night, Joe Musgrove throws the first no-hitter in Padres history in the 50-year span that they've existed. Got to be a great feat for him. He's probably feeling great today. Just kind of like that feeling of, oh, yeah, I threw a no-hitter. Shout out to my team for helping me get to a no-hitter. But you get to be the first guy to do something. That it doesn't happen often. So,
Yeah.
There's very few first left.
yeah. The
The
amount of
thing
first left has to make you, like, if you're able to obtain it, it's almost a bigger deal to do it now because it's kind of like it's so many things were already happening that now it's so rare.
The thing for me is though, like, yes, very impressive, but like as a fan, I would have been so bored watching like that on TV.
Yeah. And that might be part of the problem with baseball is that
Aaron, not a
technical
fan of
good
pitching
baseball
battles?
is a low scoring, no home runs kind of technical
Like you
game.
have to be a very serious fan of baseball, very, very serious fan of pitching in order to enjoy a perfect game, a no-hitter, those sort of things.
See,
like,
I don't think so. I think the only thing more exciting than a strikeout is number 2.
I don't know. I still need the home runs. I need them big hits
I would
to kind of keep
rather-
me into a
yeah.
game.
I would rather there be like a home run battle or like a lot of, savvy base running. Granted, that might be the softball in me, but like I'd rather a stolen base happen than,
Yeah.
like.
But that's with every sport. I think we care more about what the offense is doing than what the defense is doing. And that's just one of those things that happens. Yeah, whenever you see a no-hitter, it's an impressive thing like a pick six or I guess the fumble six, whatever the official term would be for it. As cool as it is to see it, it comes down to a technicality thing as to why it happens. Super Bowl 50, who was that, 2? The Patriots Rams, super technical game of football. It sucked to watch it. I remember being
Yeah.
at work watching it, and I was like, this game sucks. And I was like, I get it's technical and it's a good game, but I want to see
Fundamental, yeah.
just shootout. I want to see the Patriots Eagles one again, where it was just like back and forth all night. But speaking of baseball, John, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
The Indians blow.
Yeah, we know that. I don't know half the guys on the team anymore. Like I look at the roster and I feel like the people at the beginning of Major League where I'm like, who the hell are these guys?
Your team ain't have 6 wins yet? Couldn't be me.
Well, Erin, since you did work for the Nationals for a short time, do they hold a part of your heart, or is it kind of like you only cared because you worked for them?
No, like I'll pay attention. I like a lot of the players. Juan Soto's awesome. Trey Turner is like, I adore him. Scherzer, like those guys I want to pay attention to. And if I get the chance to go to a game, I'm going. But they're only letting like 5,000 people in. So it's not like it's going to be super easy to get tickets.
Cleveland's
but-
at 10,000 right now, I think.
The Rangers are at full
They're
capacity.
full at 55,000.
Amazing that they've cured COVID down in Texas.
I know, right?
You think they'd share their secrets with the rest of the MLB at least?
Everything's bigger in Texas, the fan size included.
Yeah, the COVID particles are bigger, so the mask catches it way easier. That's why they never had a problem. That's why they can go with that
Dang.
mask. The COVID particles.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including COVID.
Yeah. But no, I want the Nats to do well, especially because last year they sucked. Well, they didn't suck. They didn't do
Imagine
very well.
Going to a
Underperformed.
packed Rangers game in 2021, catching COVID, likely
And being like, I got
out
it
of
at a
work
Rangers
for
game?
Yeah, 2 weeks just to watch your team get no hit by the Padres.
Dang, that would suck.
Hey, so Cleveland is 500 right now, so they're not a losing team, but we're also not a winning team.
And their Twitter page is still really trying. Like I like to think that
yeah.
the
They're
Indians have a
trying.
good Twitter page.
I mean, that's when you know your team is bad, when you're like, hey, the Twitter page is good at least.
Yeah.
It's worth a
Do you
follow
remember
on
the Knicks
social
Twitter
media.
page a season ago? That was like the best Twitter page to follow. Was the Knicks a season ago? Whenever they're like, the game happened. We don't need to post the score because you already know how it ended.
Yeah. Who was it? The Panthers the one year. They had like all of the tweets together. The first word was the theme song of the Fresh Prince, like over time. And they're like, just read our last 57 tweets. And I was like, wow, they're so creative, but they can't win on the field.
I mean, the Panthers Twitter has gotten creative really recently, making the stuff about Sam Darnold. This is my smooth transition into the NFL. With posting Sam Darnold as Hey Arnold. It was not a great edit. It was just like Hey Arnold, but with a Panthers jersey and like some stubble on his chin.
Yeah.
They had him as a buddy from
And
The Incredibles.
I saw that one. That was a great one.
Yeah, this was all set in
I
our
love
group
that
chat. I think we set them back to back. We were like, what is going on?
They they photoshopped the Jets image of out indefinitely. It's like out of New York indefinitely.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
And I mean, the Panthers definitely made out on this, just trading away a 6th-round pick for a pretty sturdy backup. I mean, Sam Darnold.
Next year, 2nd and 4th, but
Yeah, that's still not a whole lot though
it's
for a
not
guy that was
awful
drafted
for a
top 5.
first- yeah, for a first rounder.
Yeah, and I don't
And
think he's a horrible
he's shown
player.
flashes of talent. It's just
The Jets
I think
suck.
a 2nd's an overpay. But I was livid. I saw that tweet. It said 6th overall this year, or 6th round
You
this
saw
year. I thought it
6th
said
and thought-
6th. I saw 6th in panic. I'm like, he
No,
wasn't
do you
even
guys?
drafted 6th.
I would say, do you want to know a fun fact?
Yes, fun
Yes.
fact. Aaron with all the fun facts this week.
Baker Mayfield is the only quarterback drafted in the top 5 in the last decade that is still on the team he was drafted by.
Yeah, I had to check that. I was like, well, who else could have been there? And it is top 5 because Josh Allen was taken at 8. And I was like,
Yep.
oh, okay, so it is just top 5. Because I was like,
Yeah,
Josh
it's
Allen's
not
still
top
with the
10.
Bills, but he went
Yeah,
8.
I've had
I
a
thought he
lot
went
of
5 or 6.
Mandela effect with that, where they had this tweet. It said the Jets will be the first team to pick back-to-back quarterbacks in the top 3 picks in the same, like, what is it, 3 years?
Yeah,
And I was like,
Darnold,
the
Jamal
Cardinals
Adams,
took
and
Rosen.
Mhm.
Then I'm like,
he went 10.
wait, Rosen fell.
Yeah, and then he was really mad about it. And
Went
Yeah,
to
he
kind
10,
was
of
really
said
mad
rude.
at it.
yeah.
He fell further than 10, I believe.
No, he
Didn't
went
go-
10, said there were 9 mistakes before him, and then basically played 5 or 6 crappy games with the Cardinals, got traded to be the 3rd string with the Dolphins, got cut by the Dolphins, ended up the practice squad QB for Tampa, and I'm pretty sure he just got cut by Tampa recently.
But
It's
there were
amazing
9
how-
mistakes before him.
Yeah, 9
And-
mistakes that have all
But
made
he
a
has
Pro
not
Bowl
caught
before
on
him.
anywhere.
I mean,
You
besides
think someone would take a flyer on a former someone that was debated as the first overall pick and went 10th?
But I think that
They're
was
just
that
like,
was a funky
eh.
year where a lot of
Yeah.
guys were projected to go number 1, but Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson never were, and I think they have. And this isn't a dig at Baker. They've had better years thus far than Baker, but I think Baker
Well-
has a very bright future.
No one thought Baker was going to go number 1 overall. Like that conversation didn't happen until the day of the draft.
Yeah, it was basically
Oh,
Sam Darnold's coming, and I remember the
That
whole
was
time
my
I was like, I
conversation.
don't
I
want
was
to
a
see
Baker
it.
truther from day one. I remember having to convince every Ohio State fan in my family, oh, he's an asshole. He planted the flag on the field. I'm like, yeah, I
He is
want
an
that.
asshole.
I
but
want
now
that
he's
on
our
the Browns.
He's
asshole.
our asshole, yeah.
I want that swagger. I want that mentality. That's what's going to bring winning back.
Yeah.
I'm
And yeah,
still not sold, but like
Here's
it's
my
fine.
hot take.
All right.
Every quarterback in that draft got drafted where they needed to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was out of what their potential was. Because I always hate seeing those like, oh, if we did a redraft, this is where they'd be. But it's kind of like, yeah, of course you would take Jordan number 1 instead of.
There's no way
Number
Lamar
3.
would have succeeded in Cleveland.
Yeah,
I was just about to say that. Like everybody
Baltimore
felt
rebuilt
bad.
their offense around him.
yeah.
Mhm.
Anytime somebody does a redraft where it's like,
And we
well, you
didn't have
the
the talent to
yeah.
do that.
the knowledge you have now is obviously hindsight helps.
We
but
didn't have a coach who knew how to do that, honestly.
yeah, poor coaching, and we had a good
we
line,
needed the
but
swagger, the mentality, that winning mentality that Baker had. That I'm not saying the other two don't have, but it's just
yeah,
it's more Baker's leadership and prominent
yeah,
personality.
he's always
trait.
had to be the underdog.
And then Allen
Right.
went to a perfect situation in Buffalo where they had the talent, they had a great coach,
Yeah,
and they had the offensive scheme to make him work.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like a quarterback who's like super used to winning and being the man and all that stuff wouldn't have done great in
Sam Darnold.
Cleveland. Right, wouldn't have done great in Cleveland because it would have been the first time he struggled in his career. But like clearly Baker overcame and he was a walk-on and he did this and he did that. And like he just has that tenacity that you know is going to do well in a situation and a company organization like Cleveland that has their rough patches.
yeah, the past 20 years, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Since we were all born, it's been rough patches. The
Yeah.
team disappearing, Bottlegate, getting the team back, the plethora of bad quarterbacks we took.
Yeah. Well, we lost all of our players and all of our coaches in the transition. We had
Yeah.
to start
Yeah.
over. And it just shows how long it takes for a organization to pick up from the ground. Like if
But-
you look at the newest organizations like the Panthers and the Texans, like neither one of them is too hot right now
Yeah.
either. Like the Panthers
Yeah,
had
but the Panthers
a
have
hot
made two Super Bowls.
seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, they had 2 hot seasons.
Two
And then-
Super Bowls, and they made the playoffs 10
Yeah.
years out of their 20 years.
Theirs
of
is the more
existence.
impressive. The Texans is the one I'm concerned about. Also Jacksonville, who is a
Jacksonville
newer
made an
team.
AFC championship.
Yeah,
Two
with,
AFC championships.
with Blake Bortles. But other than that, yeah, not
They
a
had-
whole lot
They
remarkable.
had some very solid teams with David Garrard, Brian Leftwich.
yeah.
But like I'm talking about the teams that were created around the same time as the
Hmm.
Browns. Because
Yeah.
like what was it? The Texans were like 2002 and the Browns came back at what 95?
Browns
so-
came back in 99.
99.
Texans
Okay.
came back in 02 and took Derek Carr's brother, whose name I cannot remember right now.
David,
Because
Carr.
he was that I know it was Carr.
David
Yeah, I remember his
Carr.
first name. He was not good though. and he was
But like that's what
he
I'm
was all
saying.
right,
They
yeah.
started
Yeah.
around the same
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
So
But you always have the one exception, and it might just be that it is the one exception, being the Las Vegas Golden Knights, that they were an expansion team in the NHL, and their first year in make it to the Stanley Cup. Yeah, obviously they didn't make it, but still, you basically had to rebuild a team, and they schemed and plotted their way to get every pick they had, and that seems to be the way to do any expansion. So since
Mhm.
I'll add in this bit, since we're not a whole lot to talk about. If you're gonna put an expansion team anywhere, I'll let you pick any kind of organization, whether it be NBA, MLS, NBA. I already said that. NHL.
NHL,
NHL,
Yeah,
yeah.
MLB,
basically any major
NFL.
U.S. sport. Where would you put them and why? Or if you need to keep numbers even, put 2 in. All right, so Erin, you got yours already.
Yep. I'm gonna go with the NBA in Seattle.
Oh, that
Simply, it's a cheat. It's a cheat.
Yeah,
They
it's a
already
cheat.
existed. They already existed. They already have the fan base. They already have the women's team there, so they can use that facility for the first few years.
I was ready
the
to say that
process
one
of
doesn't
building-
count. Pick a new one.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, no, well,
But
also they
yes,
could use the Kraken's their new facility that's getting built right now.
right, but like that's what I'm saying. The financially, it all lines up.
Yeah.
That would be the place to go. Plus, the North.
Everyone wants to see the
The Sonics
Seattle
back,
back.
yeah.
The Sonics back.
But where's
Did
your
I say
other
the
one?
Seattle?
Because you don't want to put an odd number of teams in, because it's always funky then. So where would you put a second one then? Because I think we all were going to say Seattle with the NBA.
Not gonna lie, what I really, 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 really want to see is an MLB team in Puerto Rico.
I can get behind that. That'd be
I would.
really cool.
I would like that. I would like Puerto Rico and probably Mexico City. There's one in Canada. Why isn't
Yeah,
there one?
why not go
Exactly.
south? Yeah, you could do that.
But like Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, and
Hmm.
I would argue at least 40% of the kids that are farmed in the MLB system come out of Puerto
Yeah.
Rico as teenagers. So why not? Like, you saw how good the Indians game was, how
Mhm.
big the fans were, and how supportive everything was whenever the Indians went down to Puerto Rico for one game.
Yeah.
Like,
The
why
fan
not?
base is there, so why not put a team?
right?
I would say
Where I would put a NBA team, it's Cincinnati. Obviously, they had one, and
had one?
college basketball. Yeah, the Royals.
I know-
Oh my
that
God,
was that like ABA?
he knows nothing.
I know nothing. No, I'm very
Okay,
much just
but,
like
I think it's perfect. It's a college basketball town. They need some sort of NBA franchise, but that's just being Homer. I think Louisville would be the perfect. I think Cincinnati's
say-
a little bit to Indianapolis. It's a little
proximity
bit close
to
to
it.
Cleveland. It might cut into their markets.
That's what I was
overlapping.
gonna say.
I think
would vote
Louisville would be
Kentucky
perfect
first.
because
Yeah.
Kentucky, that is basketball. You have Louisville, you have UK,
Yeah.
and even to the north, you have Cincinnati Xavier Dayton,
Yeah.
who would probably be rooting more for the Louisville
yeah, you could
team.
do Lexington.
Well,
if you
and
wanted to do anything.
Tennessee, like Tennessee's a big basketball state as well.
And they have
So,
the
like,
Grizzlies.
Yeah, but they're not that good. But like you could steal you could steal some fan base from there.
Yeah, you could
like,
steal
Yeah.
a bit from like Eastern Kentucky.
But it's the
Or
risk
Eastern
of,
Tennessee.
yeah. Do you
Mhm.
put another team in a small market location, especially something like Tennessee, where Memphis isn't great and isn't pulling in a ton, and then essentially split it where both will have not a lot.
I said Cincinnati,
But Cincy, I
not
think Cincy would
only
fill it
because
because the distance
it
from
would
Cleveland.
be perfect for me, and I would love that. But Cincinnati's the
Yeah.
20th largest market in the nation, and if
Yeah.
you add Dayton into there, it jumps into 15. And if you
Yeah.
pull in from Lexington, Louisville area, that's already a large market team.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
The Reds don't have, because Kentucky isn't as invested in baseball as they are basketball, and I'm assuming a lot of this college basketball will carry over.
Yeah, and it
But-
usually does with that. You're kind of passionate about your college, and that's kind of like, well, we also have a pro team that kind of covers some of the downtime with college. And if you're a
Yeah.
It's like
basketball
how-
fan, any basketball is
there's-
good basketball.
College football, Alabama, and it's just a great area market for a football
Yeah.
team, but they haven't capitalized.
Do
Maybe
you
because
think
the Falcons
an
are a little
NFL
close, but
I was gonna say, do you think the NFL would go down to like Birmingham?
I think
I mean,
NFL's in a
they
weird
had the
situation.
AAF.
Yeah, where Alabama could pull it, but it's also like, do
I
you
don't
try and
think
go
that
up
they
against
can.
the Crimson Tide and
Right.
everyone's gonna pull that.
Like
Yeah,
it's
I don't think that they play on 2 different days, and it's
Yeah,
not like you have to root for either the Crimson Tide or
I think
Alabama
it
football
might
team.
just be one of those ones where I think it's you're gonna put a team there, and it's kind of like, well, it's a new facility, it's a new team, and yeah, they'll want to root for it, but at the end of the day,
if they're not
college football reigns supreme there, and it's tough to try and take over that market and match the sales that Alabama's getting and tickets and in merchandising.
That's what I was gonna say. If they're
And
not as good as Alabama, it's going to be very hard for them to have a fan base. The only reason why it was like successful in Cleveland and Columbus is because the Browns have been around for so long.
yeah,
Like that's the only reason that the Browns, even in the shitty times, were able to like compete with Ohio State. I honestly don't see a team like being crappy and being
Yeah.
supported in Alabama. I don't see it.
you
I
could
would
put an
also
expansion
like
team
to
in
see
Columbus right
them
now with the
give St.
NFL.
Louis back a football team.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
would love to see.
We need to cut back to Gib. Did you just
I don't
recommend a third?
No,
NFL
I'm saying
team
I
in
don't
the
think
state
it
of
would
Ohio?
happen, and I don't think it would
No.
work well because
No.
Ohio State is so good. And obviously Ohio deals with heartbreak week after week in every sport. Right now, Cincy's our good team. Out of all of the pro sports, Cincy and the Browns are our two good teams.
Yeah, I don't think Ohio would be able to survive a third professional
Yeah.
team.
But I mean,
No,
look, New
the
York
Columbus
has
market,
3.
I think, is too small.
Yeah,
I agree.
What's a growing
I
market?
agree.
So that's the one thing that helps it is growing.
Yeah, but it can't grow that much. You're blocked in by 2 larger markets in Cleveland and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Well, Columbus is like business-wise one of the top 20 cities in the country. Like I believe in they're growing at a very rapid rate business-wise.
Business-wise, not media-wise.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. But like the fact that, the campus is right there and that's a huge chunk of land, you're never going to grow like population-wise that way. You're never like in college kids aren't going to spend hundreds of dollars. Like an XFL team, maybe they could do decent
Definitely.
in Cleveland or in Columbus, but I don't see an NFL team doing good there.
Yeah. So yeah, John, you're saying St. Louis gets the expansion. You're saying Montgomery and St. Louis.
Yep.
I'd agree with you.
I think
St.
that's
Louis.
my NFL.
Yeah.
I would say if the NFL expands, they have to go back to San Diego and St. Louis.
Yeah, those are my two.
Because a lot of people are still very.
It is evil what we have done to those 3 cities: Oakland, San Diego, and St. Louis. They have put through shit teams, especially St. Louis and Oakland. I mean, 3-win, 4-win teams, and they just start to get good.
And then the
we're
owner
like,
moves them.
LA.
Well, then look at Jacksonville. Their owner's talking about moving them to London. I don't think that'll get passed because it's a distance thing. Brady said something about it a couple weeks ago.
I mean, that's a 12-hour flight.
Yeah,
even if you go from
LA to
like
London,
Boston
you
to
are
LA.
at such a disadvantage that it's almost not even fair.
They could never have a primetime game. Like if a team had to fly 12 hours for a Thursday night game or a Monday night game, like a Monday night game, your week is already shorter. Like you already have one day less. So imagine spending your second day flying back.
Yeah.
Like there's no way you'd ever get.
They have the London game already, and that's a 10 a.m. game.
It's a 10 a.m. Sunday game. It's just early Sunday. But I guess there it's 1 p.m. Or no,
it's a normal time over there, but I don't know if I could get used to. Honestly, I probably like it having football the whole day because it feels like
you would lose.
My day
all
starts
of
at 2:00.
Yeah.
Or 1:15.
You'd lose all of the like really religious Christian football followers though.
Because Sunday morning church.
Mm-hmm.
No one's waking up at 6 a.m. to go to church.
And then your fantasy football gets wrecked because you forget that this team's playing at 10 a.m. in London and you don't set your lineup till noon.
So basically, I don't know that
it's
like
a
big southern market.
But
yeah, I think that guy in Jacksonville, he did start AEW, and that's growing. And I think it's kind of like stay in Jacksonville, stay there where you have an audience and you have fans, and everything's going well for you. Don't try and shake it up.
I understand the argument of wanting to get out of Jacksonville, though. Like, there's too many football teams in Florida.
Yeah, yeah. We say there's too many in Ohio and like Jacksonville, Tampa, and Miami.
And well, Miami has history. Tampa's currently good. So that leaves Jacksonville as the team that nobody will root for in this generation, which sucks. Like everybody will either grow up, their dad was a Dolphins fan, so now they're a Dolphins fan. Or the Dolphins aren't that bad. They have Tua right now. Or they'll grow up, the Bucks are having Super Bowls, they're winning, Tom Brady, woo, 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 woo.
And you don't
But,
even
like,
get the state to the north because that's Falcons territory.
Yeah, that's all
Exactly.
Falcons. And it's and you can't really pull. I guess your best chance is pulling from Alabama and all that. But even then, yeah,
Their
it's kind
best
of like
chance
Georgia's
is
still kind of closer.
getting really good and siphoning off fans from Tampa Bay.
Yeah. But yeah, there's still a limited amount of people in Florida, so that's always gonna be an issue. I think my NBA, Seattle, I think everyone's gonna agree upon that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say either Vegas or somewhere like Louisville, like you said, where like, yeah, it's a huge market for basketball, and there's kind of nothing in that section besides the Grizzlies. But Vegas is growing so much that it's also kind of like it's guaranteed money to put something there. So it's logically Vegas will get an NBA team before I think we see anything in Kentucky or Cincy get something, sadly, because the money's going to be there.
Well, and they can use the same facilities as like
as the Golden Knights, or
build
build something new, because Vegas will draw in money because somebody's always going on a trip there. It's like, might as well catch a game while we're here.
Right. It also depends on the versatility of the like whatever that thing is, the Death Star. Like you could always cover the field. Like it's not like they're playing.
Do what they did for March Madness, and basically like how they turned Lucas Oil into a basketball, or how they did AT&T with Dallas. They do it all the time with March Madness, or they turn football fields into basketball courts.
The only thing logistically with that is the Raiders season would bump
the overlap,
into, like they overlap too much. Even
and
though
that's why
one
you
is
would
fall
use
and one is winter.
That's where hockey comes in. You can use the Golden Knights facility where
but their
hopefully
season's just as long.
You can't really
have that happen
switch your home field halfway through the season. Say the first half we'll play with the Golden Knights and the second half we'll play with the.
There's got to be some situation where somebody's playing above ice.
Well, yeah, like the Wizards and the Mystics and the Caps all play in the same facility.
Yeah,
so like the WNBA, NBA, and
NHL
all share. Yeah,
but
they're all owned by the same organization. That's the thing. Whoever owns the Knights would have to own the ML or not
have
MLB,
to own the
NBA team.
They'll
probably more than likely
and
in order
MLB team soon too.
Yeah. So
I think the Minnesota Wild and the T-Wolves might play in the same place. I gotta check that one real quick.
I imagine it's a lot more of like smaller space. Like
if you have a small market, it's easier to just have everyone use the same facility than try and build two separate ones.
Whenever the women's like Final Four tournament was in Columbus, it was during that NHL stuff, and they were playing above ice. So at Nationwide. So
no, actually, the Timberwolves and the Minnesota Wild do not play in the same city. So it's St. Paul and Minneapolis where they play. So yeah, there are situations where you have guys that they put the court on top of ice. Does that happen in LA, or is that just the Clippers Lakers switch out?
That's just Clippers Lakers switch.
Okay. And that's still always impressive. I love watching those videos of how they switch out from a Lakers game to a Clippers game. Yeah, the floor, the seats. And it's like in the span of like 2 or 3 hours, they switch everything out. And just the logistics of it. I'm like, that's impressive, and I always love it.
They've done it enough that it's a well-oiled machine at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the Clippers don't have any banners to take down.
Yeah, they don't have any banners to take down, and they don't have a whole lot of fans to put in the seats. So Brady's not here. We've made fun of the Clippers a lot more. I think the last bit of news and kind of sports stuff from this week is Masters weekend is this week. None of us really know a whole lot about golf.
Nope.
You hit the ball.
Yeah, I know for sure Dustin Johnson and McElroy are both out of the Masters already, and that surprised a lot of people. Masters dinner Tuesday night. They leave an open seat for Tiger Woods as if he had died, but he'll probably make an appearance next year. Even if he's not playing, I think he'll make an appearance. So it's kind of weird to leave an empty seat for him. I get it's kind of like we're supporting you, but it's still weird.
Well, wasn't he supposed to play in the Masters though?
I mean, he's a professional golfer and he's very much well known and talented. So I think it was one of those.
Well, he won it like 2 years ago.
It's a given that they still are there, even if they're not doing great, because you just kind of whittle down throughout the week is what happens. So Thursday it starts. and you kind of everyone that finishes like +6 and lower is out, and then the next day, everyone that's +5 and lower after they go through another round's out. So it's kind of like the lower half gets taken out every day. So Tiger could go and be out the first day.
Yeah.
You could have a guy.
Well, he won it a few years ago.
Yeah.
So
And-
like it's not like he's irrelevant in the golf world. He's not like
He would never
just
be
the
irrelevant in
old-
the golf world, I think.
But he'd be just like Mickelson. Like he's basically at this point just like an older man that we enjoy seeing
Arnold
because we all
Palmer.
like him. Like he isn't really going to compete very much anymore, but he's still going to
Basically,
draw
when they
fans.
drag Hulk Hogan out to the wrestling events.
Yeah.
Right.
But I did
Like,
find out something
everyone's like,
cool.
man, I really liked watching this guy as a kid.
Right.
And
exactly.
I grew up and he was winning tournaments.
But I did find something cool about the Masters, and it is whoever wins the Masters picks the meal for the next year's dinner. So I don't know
That's
who
a
won.
lot of pressure.
That really
But
is.
so
I
let's
never
say
knew
you're
that.
Jordan Spieth and you win 2020. You get to pick the meal that everyone's having for this year. I believe whoever did it selected like filet mignon and garlic potatoes. Very much like simple steak and potatoes.
Anybody
and-
can get behind it type
Yeah,
of thing.
asparagus, I believe. But I was like, I want to know, what would you guys pick if you won the Masters? What's the dinner you're giving everybody for the next year? Are you going psychological and picking something weird? Are you picking like
No.
your favorite? Are you gonna like just kind of standard, everyone will like it, like be the crowd pleaser?
I mean, is this before or after the Masters?
It is Tuesday, so it would have been earlier this week. Is whenever they have the dinner.
But you have to be strategic about it, like because you're also playing. Unless you're retiring, then frick,
Yeah.
fried chicken,
I'd
mashed
win-
potatoes,
I'd-
mac and cheese.
I'd win mine and then say, peace out. I'm not competing next year. You can have boiled herring.
John's gonna like win and then never play golf again, and just be like, all right, what can I
Retire
give
on
them?
No, I feel like honestly, salmon, garlic mashed potatoes, asparagus sounds great. Granted, you have to worry about everyone with like fish allergies and
They
things
do.
of that
They do have
nature.
something set up for people with allergies. I believe, like if people are, I never saw because I only saw what the main items were, but they did say there were alternatives allowed in like the comments below the tweet.
Sushi also sounds amazing. I'm not gonna lie, that would be pretty bomb, but that would be a lot of sushi to make. What else is out there?
I really love spicy food, so it would be the spiciest thing. And all of
Chicken
these
wing.
other players would just be like,
John's trying to tear up
the
everyone's
next day.
intestinal system for the
there's
next, like
Tommy
the first
doing
of the
front
Masters.
flips. I mean, I'd get a free at least 2 days where I could comfortably golf and no one else is feeling.
Everyone else having to use the bathroom like every hole and
Mhm.
like in pain.
That's a valid point. Like spicy wings or something, that would be good too.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
I got two that I'm torn between. Part of me is thinking like kind of do some like southern barbecue, do some pulled pork, cornbread, barbecue, all that because that sounds awesome. And I know they do it right. The other part is like psychological and go with like 7-Eleven chili dogs and onion rings and like 99-cent tea brought to you by Arizona.
Taquitos.
Arizona, please sponsor
You can have
us.
the White
I
House
will get-
McDonald's
yeah.
buffet.
Yeah. Also,
Yes.
again, Arizona. I'll show now. If you sponsor our podcast, I will get a tattoo of a full can on my ass. This is the second time I've said it. Please reach out to us. I will do it. 100%.
All right, leave it at 2. 3 sounds desperate.
I would say I don't even want to see a photo of it if it ever happens. So
Oh, don't worry, you will. You'll be the
Nope.
first person that sees it. Well,
no,
should I go with the green tea or should I go with sweet tea if they do reach out?
green tea.
Green tea can's prettier. Sweet tea
Yeah.
is a
It's
classic.
more iconic
Yeah.
though. Like
Yeah.
I would go with, I don't know, the green can with the yellow or with the pink
With
cherry,
the cherry
blossoms.
blossoms. All
Yeah,
right.
that one's
you heard it here
iconic.
first, Arizona.
I think the lemon tea, honestly, is the most iconic. You know, the
I think
kind
I've
of
had their
the
lemon
green
tea.
can with the mural.
I think
As,
I've had
like,
that
pink,
one. I might have
yellow.
to go grab some.
SOS, Arizona's not going to sponsor us now.
Oh no, shit. I really love the green tea and the sweet tea though. I really like that. I drink Arnold Palmer's every week on the show. I even remember, I think I even shotgun one the day that Arnold Palmer died when I was at college. Because we had cans in our dorm room, so I just like popped it and then chugged it in the dorm room, and I was like, "Rest in peace, Arnold Palmer."
Jesus.
And
So I guess we'll end our show. Rest in peace to DMX. You will be missed. Every one of us probably heard your song pre-game or in a workout playlist at some point in our high school athletic careers. Nobody could bark like him on a record. I'm gonna miss him. So Sock, what is your favorite ad lib by DMX? Is it the barking?
it's got to be the bark. That's like it's iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like his calling card, like how Migos
Yeah.
go like splash
Migo.
or whatever. Yeah, and the screw.
Migos have too many ad libs to be iconic. It's just the ad lib for me.
I mean,
to have an actual sound that's like
DMX had
You?
"Let's Get It On." Come on. Lil Jon might be the leader in ad libs though, because I think everything he says is an ad lib.
Lil Jon.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. Okay, see, we're getting too far
Yeah.
now. This is
Yeah.
where we gotta cut
yeah.
it.
All right.
Nope.
Thank
Cut
you
that.
everyone for
That was
tuning in.
embarrassing.
Remember to tune in next week. We will have University of Findlay cross country runner Willie Nowak on to discuss who is the GOAT. Leave who you think the greatest of all time is in the comments this week. Maybe put it next week if you're feeling so inclined to put it twice. Again, we're gonna do what we always do: give a call any high school, college athletes, high school, college coaches, anyone with expertise on a weird sport. If you want to come on, shoot us a DM on Twitter. Send Erin a instant message on Facebook.
Oh yeah, because I answer all of those.
Reach out to any of us. I know we're always excited with the show. We get to do something that we love. We are now on 7 months of doing this. I'm excited to do college
Insane,
football
yeah.
again. It is so weird. I got a little nostalgic kind of, I think last week. This is probably the most well documented my life has been in my probably since I was a baby, that every week I've gotten to come on here with you guys and talk and kind of know what I look like, oddly enough, because I don't take enough pictures of myself, but know what my thoughts are and kind of how my life's going and all of that. And it's just something that, like, as we're getting further into this, the more I'm like, man, this is a lot of fun. I get to enjoy it. And the audience that is a part of this makes it so much more fun that we're up to, I believe, 54 subscribers at the time of recording this. We crossed 50.
Nice. We're getting
Sure.
famous, guys.
Oh yeah, we're starting to blow up now. We're going to be on a race car. Other sponsorship stuff. Again, I gotta get the envelopes, and we'll start doing giveaways for the stickers. That's the one thing stopping us, is me being horrible at remembering getting envelopes and all that. But those will be coming out shortly, so look forward for that. Check out social media pages at Power 10 Sports. We'll do giveaways, probably do trivia to see who can win them. But again, leave a like, comment some of your thoughts on what we talked about today. Subscribe to the channel. Share it if you really enjoy it with your friends. Every time that somebody shares, it seems like our audience reaches a whole new group of people that find the show and get to laugh with us every week. But that's all we have. Thank you for tuning in.